It was about 3 years ago, not long after getting married. While looking for a new place to live, we came across a cheap and perfect apartment. I really liked it, but my husband wanted to look for another one. However, I insisted that it would be difficult to find such a good and affordable apartment. Seeing how excited I was about the apartment, my husband eventually gave in. Our new home, though not very lavish, left me with no regrets. I had the most reliable partner in the world, my husband. He had always been gentle and patient, someone I'd only known to be full of love without ever causing me any problems. But oh, how surprised I was by my husband's first name on the day we met. Despite his sturdy build, his name, Ashley, too feminine for his physique, didn't seem to fit him at all. It was a special name given by a shaman to suppress strong negative fate associated with being born as male. I usually didn't believe in superstitions, so I chuckled. But was it my arrogance? One day, my husband started changing unrecognizably. I warmly welcomed him from work, but he stood in front of the entrance for a long while without saying a word. Not only that, he had a chillingly fixed expression. "Honey, what's wrong?" I asked in confusion. When I approached, he forcefully pushed me away and widened his nostrils while sniffing. He complained of a foul odor emanating, then proceeded to sniff every nook and cranny in the house, searching for its source. Bewildered, I watched as he unexpectedly began rummaging through the trash, tearing the bag open and handling the filthy contents with his bare hands. Shocked by this sight, I fled to the safety of the bedroom as if seeking refuge. I wonder how much time passed, feeling unease. My husband entered, smiling as if nothing had happened. "Why are you acting like this?" I asked about what had happened, but he remained silent. I, too angry to speak, stayed still on the bed. As I about to pull over my blanket, my husband yelled,
"You're not in your spot. Go further in, close to the wall."
"But tonight I just want to sleep here on the outer side." However, my husband tried to push me towards the inside. "Why do you care so much about where I sleep? What's the big deal?" The two of us argued loudly. It looked like little kids fighting, but it was more than that. It is my pride at stake, and I felt even more reluctant to follow his way as my anger surged. We ended up sleeping separately for the first time. The next morning. "Good morning, honey. Are you heading for work now?" I asked, but my husband left for work without a word in response. And that night, as well as the following nights, he slept in the living room instead of our bedroom. His attitude, seemingly avoiding me, was so cruel that eventually my anger exploded. What on earth is the problem? If you want to say something, then just say it. What's with this behavior? Do you have another woman? Is that why you're acting like this? But once again, my husband left without a reply. Having some trouble falling asleep due to suffocating and hurtful feelings, while lying in bed, tossing and turning for a while, I heard shouting coming from the living room. Curious about what was going on, I rushed to the living room and was left speechless by the shocking scene in front of me. My husband was standing in the middle of the room, arms wide open, screaming, twisting his body, and thrashing about. Concerned, I ran and grabbed his arms, asking what was wrong. However, he shouted at me to go back inside the bedroom. Shocked by his bizarre behavior I just witnessed, I fled to the bedroom. I couldn't comprehend my husband's strange behavior. Though I wished to confide in someone about it, I couldn't muster the courage to utter the words that my husband seemed to have gone crazy. It's been a month of sleeping separately, and an event occurred that I could no longer ignore. That night, my husband didn't come home until well past midnight. Exhausted from waiting, I was on the brink of sleep when I heard a voice.
"Don't you dare crossing that line, never ever."
Startled by the voice from somewhere, I got up. I noticed scattered clothes on the floor and a mess in the closet. Why are all the clothes taken out? Clothes strewn across the floor extended from the opened bedroom door into the living room. As I started gathering the clothes one by one and stepped into the living room, I witnessed a scene that made me doubt my own eyes.
"Put those dirty hands away, let go."
My husband was holding on to the clothes as if he was in a tug of war, as if someone was trying to take them. A thief, perhaps? Carefully, I shifted my eyes to the opposite end of the clothes. I couldn't believe my eyes. There was no one at the other end. But the clothes stretched taut, as if they were being pulled from both ends. In that moment, my husband's grip weakened, as if his strength faltered. He couldn't hold on anymore and began to be dragged forward. I felt something terrible might happen unless I do something. I rushed to grab and pull my husband back. Instantly, that eerie force pulling us vanished, and in the same instant, we tumbled to the floor. I couldn't possibly take this terrible situation any longer. Are you hiding something from me? What are all these clothes? Is this how we're supposed to live? I can't live like this anymore. It wasn't until divorce was brought up that my husband finally revealed his dark secret. For over a month, he had kept to himself the fact that another family dwells in our apartment. When my husband and I first visited the apartment for a view, he saw what appeared to be a family in a corner of the living room. They looked extremely pale. Looks like a married couple, and there was even a young child with them. He thought they weren't real people, but rather ghosts due to their eerie appearance. However, he chose not to mention seeing them as he knew I wouldn't believe it. Besides, I was too excited about the place. At that instant, something clicked. I remembered the two conditions my husband asked of me on the day of moving in. Always sleep inside on the bed close to the wall, and when alone, lock the bedroom door. Despite that, my husband felt uneasy and tried to protect me by staying in the living room. That's when the haunting torment from the ghostly family began. When I saw my husband last time, standing in the middle of the room with arms outstretched, he was struggling to breathe, tormented by those very ghosts. They were the ones attempting to take my clothes in the dead of night. Eventually, we decided to move. We eagerly waited for the day to leave. However, one late night, when my husband was working overtime and I was left alone at home, fear gripped me. I locked the bedroom door, sitting there fixated on the clock. Then, I heard the sound of a key turning in the lock. Thinking it was my husband returning, I felt relief and tried to open the bedroom door. Amidst the noisy footsteps running around echoing through the house, at that moment, a clamor erupted.
They're not here! They're not here!
Fearing the worst, I tried to call my husband, but my phone powered off and it refused to turn back on. Why is it not working? In a panic, my thoughts became vocalized aloud. Suddenly, the bustling noises that filled the house stopped. Everything became quiet. The bedroom door began to creak madly.
They are in here! Open the door! Open the door!
Right then, I lost consciousness. Without delay, after an exhaustive search, my husband and I found a shaman. We were informed that these were bound spirits, tethered to the very place we called home. The shaman explained that had we left them undisturbed, we wouldn't have encountered any trouble. However, when my husband attempted to drive them away, their anger erupted, causing a significant disturbance. The shaman then instructed us to prepare clothes and shoes to be worn by the departed souls and burn them. Hastily, I went to the vacant lot behind the house and set the clothes ablaze. Following this, the ghostly family never appeared to us again. Yet, the question lingers. Who were those ghostly family my husband had seen? Were they the spirits of previous residents who met a tragic end?